Well, speaking of Olympians, there's a group of them that say when their job's no sweat, they really mean it. And Geoff Fowler joins us from London. Good morning, Geoff. So talk a little bit about...
Good morning.
Good morning. Talk a little bit about we're talking, of course, about Olympic moppers here. Huge number of volunteers doing this.
That's right.
How many?
That's right. Well, there's 70,000 games makers, is what they call them, the volunteers here total. But among them, the elite squad get to do a job that you wouldn't normally want to do at home, but you definitely want to do during the Olympics, and that's do some mopping. You know, a lot of these Olympic sports are extremely sweaty, especially the ones that are indoors, where they don't have a lot of air conditioning because they don't want to interfere with the games, like badminton and handball. And in there, these elite volunteers, games makers, get to go around and mop up all their favorite athletes' sweat.
This was a hugely competitive position to win. You mentioned with the badminton folks, there are multiple teams, and even then there were maybe hundreds of people volunteering for these positions.
That's right. This is a pretty sweet gig. It is volunteered. It's not paid, but some of these kids had hundreds of people applying for these jobs. You know, and a lot of these folks are, you know, they play at an elite level in these sports themselves. So the chance to be in the Olympics and be on court with their idols was just amazing. Some told me that they were just terrified because these were their heroes, that they were there, you know, right underneath their nose. And of course, their friends all saw them on TV and make lots of jokes at them about their mopping skills.
Now, we can't laugh here. There's actually months of training involved.
There are months of training. First step is there were about 6 different training days for the folks in badminton in particular. The first one was just a general training. You got to learn to have that Olympic spirit. The volunteers here, as you might even be able to hear right now, are a very energetic bunch. So you weren't allowed to look bored while sitting out there on court. Next step was to learn the basics of badminton mopping, and there's actually some rules involved. For example, badminton players sometimes try to illegally extend play by asking for extra mopping. They say that the floor's too wet, but the umpires are onto that, and so if you're a badminton mopper, you can only take instructions from the umpires, not from the players, even if they're your idol.
Geoff, speaking of that, talk about the quote-unquote no contact rule.
That's right. You know, this is the Olympics. These athletes are, you know, in the peak of their performance. You're not supposed to talk to them. You're not supposed to make eye contact. You're not supposed to give them any tips on their play. You're supposed to just look down at the ground and look at that umpire and follow that instruction.
And of course, at basketball, we have what they call the magic moppers.
That's right. So basketball has 2 kinds of moppers involved in it, actually, as you said. There's the regular volunteer ones, and then there's a professional troupe of moppers called the magic moppers. Turns out they're actually break dancers, and so they come out onto the court looking like they're regular moppers and then end up doing a break dance routine to entertain everybody. But those guys aren't volunteers; they are pros.
And in fact,
throughout the games, every venues and every sport's a little different.
I love it. The indoor volleyball. They're actually introducing the moppers with the competitors.
That's right. Yeah. No, they call them out and they say, you know, here are the world famous moppers. At the beach volleyball, where of course you don't mop because it's sand, they have rakers instead, and they come out to a zany theme song from Benny Hill, which I swear the Queen could probably hear at Buckingham Palace,
Great.
Which is right next door.